Hey folks, this is Matthew with Riverponics. It's been a while since I posted a video. It's been about 2 weeks, but just been busy obtaining all the literature and pictures and stuff for my website, kind of revamping prices and new products and deleting some, and just figuring out what people are really looking for. For instance, a lot of people already have light fixtures and containers and stuff like that, so those are costs that I can cut and just sell you a grow system. But I wanted to give you a quick update on my garden here, and these are the flats, and those are tobacco plants. I'm not sure how well they'll do because it's late in the season, and those were, I uprooted them from tobacco seeds just growing wild in some of these containers and transplanted them over here to the flats. But this is one way of being able to utilize my grow systems here with these growing flats, and I have videos, a couple videos kind of showing how this works. Well, my tomato plants are really big. I actually had to tie that one off in the middle. It stands probably 12 foot tall, and we had a really bad windstorm and about blew that thing over, and I had to tie it up with a rope. I had the leaning tower going on. But I'll kind of go over my brewer real quick. This is my second biggest brewer. This is a 20 gallon, and it is a patented brewer, and it has a filtering system. It dispenses out into an additional reservoir and then ultimately pumps back into the brewer, which increases the amount of tea you can brew at one setting. So that's part of my patent. That's a really cool aspect. This thing does have 2 control valves on it. Let's see if I can get a shot of it. There's a control valve. Let's see if I can. There's a control valve there, and I'll come around, and there's a control valve there. So all this plumbing underneath is attached to the filter, which is housed in the brewer, right? So this is a clean out here. So ultimately you could come off your clean out and go to a grow system too through static pressure. So that's one way of being able to utilize this brewer to feed additional grow systems or what have you. This is a plug and play. It comes with an outlet that has a cord, and you just plug your 110 into it, and then that energizes that outlet for all your components. But there's very little components. All you have is a air pump and a submersible pump, which is in your reservoir that pumps the fluid back into the brewer, so it forms that closed loop. All right, but those control valves I just showed you, the one underneath, you can control how much fluid comes out of your brewer, up through your piping, and out, in this case, to my vortex bucket. And then this controls the flow out of your standpipe there, and you can adjust that to get the right level you're looking for. And this is my vortex bucket, so it avoids any overflow issues. Typically this thing sits inside the reservoir. There's different ways of utilizing the vortex bucket. In this case, I'm actually vortexing my water, and then I have a hook up there at the foot level, which ultimately feeds my grow system. A better shot, but that tube runs all the way down to the end of the grow system, and is fed by dual 1/4-inch lines, which feeds into the grow channels, and then ultimately it gets circulated back through that 2-inch pipe. So everything is a closed loop with this system. Ideally, you probably put the vortex bucket in your reservoir. That way you can avoid any overflow issues, which I haven't had any. This has been up and running now for 2 weeks and no overflow issues. There are no glue fittings to this, and this thing actually has somewhat stopped leaking. We've had some hellacious rainstorms lately, And being outdoors, I'm seeing this is kind of a unique thing, but you can see how the water in here is discolored, and that's the beauty of using soil and specifically being outdoors, because that rainwater filters through all that soil in my growing containers, and it filters through and gets into the grow channels. So now you're taking all those microbes and minerals and stuff from your soil and introducing it into the closed loop system when you get torrential rains and stuff. So I think that's kind of interesting, kind of a unique aspect to things. I am a soil guy ultimately, you know, and utilizing soil, you use less nutrients, so there's a benefit to it all. But all my plants are just, there's massive amounts of fruit on everything, and they're just sagging, hanging over with fruit. So much fruit, I don't know what to do with it all. And you can utilize techniques like this growing off the side. There's some beautiful kale. There's bunch more kale here grown out of the side of the container, so you can utilize your space. Bundles of bell peppers and jalapenos just loaded in here. There is something I'm going to show you here real quick, but you can see there's just all kinds of habaneros. My cucumber's pretty much seen its day. When I got that powdery mildew, it pretty much knocked it out, kind of deal. Is just really no point of return. I tried to do what I can, and it helped somewhat, but ultimately it's late in the season too. But you can see, I just have all these bell peppers coming in here. They blend in so well with the foliage. It's hard to see everything, but I'll walk over here. Here's a nice bell pepper right there. There's a few of them growing there. There's one right there growing. So these are all soil, except this row right here is a soilless row, and it's a mix I came up with, and it's done really well. There's no need for drippers or anything, but you can see all the fruit. These are cow horns. More banana peppers. Got a lot of little bells coming in. There's one that's pretty ripe, needs picked. There's a bunch more coming in here, and this is all soilless stuff. These are, you can see how droopy this plant is because all the fruit on here. If you can see all that, it's hard to see. I apologize, but I try to do my best. But look at all the fruit, all the habaneros on there. And these babies are hot, let me tell you. More peppers. But here's the cool thing. This plant in the corner, it's shoved up against my garage and backed up to a fence with a lot of tree coverage. So this thing was really stretching for light, but it's finally producing, and you can see all the problemos. They're just coming in everywhere. Look at all of them down there. And this wasn't, let me walk around here. This wasn't like this 2 weeks ago. You could see the buds. I did a video showing the buds, but look at those things. Look at all of them. That is awesome. And this plant is more than 4 foot tall. So it's definitely stretched, and now it's doing its thing. But I want to show you the roots, and this is, I know Mana Adita, a guy that's using one of my grow systems, he had a concern about having the container too close to the drain, and so I want to show you the roots of this. So there's the drain. So you got to kind of train your roots not to go down your drain. I've never had any issues, but you can see how big this plant is, and it's doing its thing. It's got its roots down in the grow channel, forming that hybrid grow system. But there's some more. That's pretty impressive. But I just wanted to show people that, and hopefully get the concept and realize I've been working on this for 6 years, so there's always a rhyme and reason why I do things, and just observing this the last 6 years has taught me a tremendous amount. So alright guys, stay tuned. I'll be posting some other stuff. I'm going to cover some biochar and some other things I've been learning. So take care. Thank you.